Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. Welcome to day 2 of my 12 days of Crafty Christmas 2024. Today I'm going to be creating a card with you using the classic wedding photopolymer stamp set. So we're going to be using the car from this set, but I am making a Christmas card. I'm also going to be pulling in a stamp from the Tracking Along stamp set and a stamp from the Yuletide Village. So I've got the tree from the Yuletide Village, and then the little set of presents is from Trucking Along. So I'm going to start with my stamping. So let's bring in some basic white. So I'm going to stamp my tree and my presents in Memento. And I've got my Stampin' Pierce mat as well, to make sure I get a nice impression first time around. There we go. So that's those, and then I'm going to stamp my car outline. And it's slightly ridiculous because I don't know what I've done with my E block, so I'm using this really ridiculous F block that is way too big for this stamp. I wouldn't recommend using a block that's that much bigger than your stamp, but I'm going to use it today because it's what I've got. It won't fit on a D, and I don't know where the E is. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp down my car. I'm going to get all of my stamping done while I'm here, so I'm going to stamp I'm going to want my little banner. So I'm going to pop that on a sensible sized block, and again I'm going to stamp that in the Memento. I'll just stamp that up here, and then I'm going to stamp my sentiment as well while I'm here. So I've got the Merry from the Greetings of the Season, and I'm just hopefully going to squish that into that banner. I'm going to stamp my sentiment in real red. And I'm hoping, I'm sorry if you see my head, just trying to get that like over view. There we go, that'll do. I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to take my F block again, and this time I'm going to do the kind of infill for the car. Sorry, that's probably really noisy on the camera. So I'm going to pop that down, and I'm going to stamp my car in real red as well. So just ink that up, and then just lining it up. I'm sorry if you get my head in the way. Stamp that down. Lovely. Okay, so that is all of my stamping. I was just thinking then, yeah, that is all of my stamping. So I'm going to do a little bit of colouring with blends now. Let's just close up my ink pads before I put my hand in them. I'm very good at doing that. Okay, so I'm going to colour in my little tree. I've got light and dark old olive, and I'm just gonna give these a colour. The Stampin' blends are super forgiving, so you do not need to be an artist at all. So I'm just kind of colouring all the way over my tree in the light, and then I'm going to come in with the dark and just add a little bit of depth, and I'm using the stamped lines kind of as a bit of a guide to just add a little bit of the dark kind of over those stamped lines. It just elevates it. There we go, so there's a little tree coloured in, and then I'm going to colour the presents. So the colours that I've got are light and dark real red, light and dark old olive, and then I'm going to bring in a little bit of light wild wheat as well on a couple of our presents. And while I've got that out, I'm also going to colour the lights on the car. So just a couple of bits there. And then I'm going to colour the whole of that light section. I know that that's not particularly accurate, that you would have your indicators and your brake lights, but because we've got a red car, I'm just going to go with the yellow. So then we'll colour, oh, that's the wrong end. I like to use the bullet tip. Let's colour that one in with the light old olive, and then I'm going to grab the dark old olive for this little parcel. And then light real red for this parcel, and then I'm going to do the ribbon in the dark real red, and I'm also going to bring in the dark real red for the remaining stripes on this parcel. There we go. Just colour in that ribbon. There we go. Okay, and then I've got a little bit of colouring to do on the car. So I'm bringing in the light and dark grey granite. I'm going to colour my tyres in dark. There is a stamp that you can fill in your tyres. I'm just going to colour them. They're nice and quick to colour. And then I'm just going to go over again with that dark just around the outside and the bottom, just to add a little bit of shading. Nothing groundbreaking. And then I'm going to use my light grey granite, and I'm going to go around the windows, and I'm going to colour the bumper in that colour as well. So I don't have the dies that go with this set, but in the die set there is a die for the bumper. So you could die cut it in grey cardstock, or you could die cut it in the silver foil. Lots of different options. And then, just because I've missed a little bit with my stamping, let's use the dark. I'm just going to colour that white section there in with the real red marker. I think it will look less obvious coloured in than it does not coloured. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and then for my windows, I'm just going to use light pool party. And you could kind of just add a streak of colour if you wanted to. You could add some yellow like the lights on. You could even draw little heads if you wanted to, but I'm just going to colour it in the pool party. Okay, so now I'm going to do a quick bit of fussy cutting. So I have not Blue Peter styled, so I haven't prepped any of these. So I'm just gonna cut around them nice and quickly, thankfully. Apart from kind of wiggling around the presents, they're not too taxing for fussy cutting. That's the wrong way. I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. So just cutting around my little banner. So the banner is being my sentiment on this card. You could not use the banner if you wanted to. You could put a different sentiment in the banner space. You could not use the banner and just stamp a sentiment. We are going to do a little bit of ink blending, and I think actually a white heat embossed sentiment would look lovely. Or perhaps gold, actually, gold would look pretty. So, is my banner almost done? Just that little twiddly bit there. There we go, so that's my banner ready. And then quickly around my tree. I know for some people watching fussy cutting, oh, I've just knocked my trimmer off. For some people watching fussy cutting is not their idea of relaxing. I could watch people fussy cut for hours. I really enjoy it. I find it really satisfying, even when I'm not the one doing the cutting. But I know there are plenty of fussy cutting haters out there. But it's one of the things that I love about crafting, is that we're all different and we all have different things that we enjoy doing, enjoy creating. We have our different styles. And also we enjoy watching other people create different things. You know, whether that's because you can appreciate that what somebody's created is lovely, but you know that it's not something you would create yourself, or whether, you know, you're getting ideas and inspiration from somebody whose style that you really like. You know, there's lots of options, and I just love that about crafting, being able to kind of be creatively free. And the fact that, you know, you don't have to make something in a particular style to appreciate somebody else doing it. You know, we talk about that quite a lot when we gather together and craft together. You know, people make really beautiful things, and you can appreciate that something's really beautiful whilst it not being something that, you know, you would create yourself, because it's not your style. And I just love that. I love how different we are. So yeah, let me know in the comments, are you a fussy cutting fanatic? Do you detest fussy cutting? Are you very happy to watch other people fussy cut, but the idea of doing it yourself is a nightmare? Where do you sit on fussy cutting? Yeah, like I say, I could watch other people fussy cut for hours. I don't mind fussy cutting. I like it a lot more now than I used to. But equally, if you can give me a punch that will do the job, then I would rather that, to be honest. Maybe that's just me being a lazy crafter. I haven't cut around that wheel very well. I'm going to come back and fix that in a second. Otherwise it's going to irritate me. So this is going to be a longer video than yesterday's live. I've got a couple more techniques in today's video. So for those of you who joined me yesterday, thank you. It was really nice to have the opportunity to go live and kind of create in real time with you. I really enjoyed that. And I will be going live for at least one more of my 12 days of Crafty Christmas. So, right, let's move on to the next bit then. So I'm going to do my cutting now. I managed to not lose either blade when I knocked my trimmer on the floor. So I'm going to cut my card base first of all. So I need to clean that track. That's not very clean. I can see bits in it, so it's not going to give me a nice clean cut. So this is your friendly reminder to clean out the track on your paper trimmer. So I'm going to score at 10.5 and then cut at 14.85. That's going to give me 2 card bases, so I'm going to put one to one side to use later, and then I am going to cut from Pool Party a mat. So I'm going to cut at 10 centimetres and 14.35. And that is going to be my mat, and then I'm done with my paper trimmer. I can pop that over there. Hopefully it's not going to fall off. So now I've got my card front, or my card base. This panel is going to go on the front, but before we do any kind of sticking or anything, I am going to do some ink blending. So I have got a blending brush here, and I have got my Night of Navy ink pad off to the side. Now, I would bring it into shot, but my Night of Navy ink pad is like a little explosion, and I've got it on the wrapper of a designer series paper to stop the ink from just exploding everywhere. So I'm going to leave it where it is. But I've got a blending brush here. This is one of the larger blending brushes, and I'm going to start kind of off the side. I'm just going to take the kind of huge excess off, and then I'm going to blend. And I'm kind of blending around the edge, and I'm wanting to leave some of that Pool Party as Pool Party. So just kind of coming in around the edge and just softening that a little bit. So the idea is that I've got my dark night sky and then the headlights. So I'm just coming around again, just adding a little bit more ink. Kind of really building up that nighttime sky. And you can blend as much or as little as you want to. So I'm just going to bring in my little car and see if I'm kind of happy with, yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. I think I might just add a little bit more here at the bottom, and then I'll be ready to think about the next step. So there's that. So I am going to bring in a technique that I did in yesterday's live. So we're going to do some snow splattage. So I've got my Whisper White ink pad. I'm just going to pick up some of that ink onto my block. You could use your re-inker straight onto your block instead. In fact, that's probably a slightly easier way of doing it. Just add a little bit of water because it's quite thick, and then just flicking. I don't know how well you can see that. I'll just pick up a bit more of that ink. And just do a bit more flicking. And you can do as much or as little of this as you want. Or you could do none if you don't want to add any. So now I'm going to bring back in my trimmer because, so we went to an event recently in Reading, run by our demonstrator development manager for the UK and Ireland, and we had a space that we could kind of display a project, and I saw a really beautiful banner that I think was one of Belle Green's creations. She can correct me if I am wrong. Where she had done this, so she had stamped the car. Sorry, I should have talked through what I was doing there. So I just made a little slit kind of along this stamped line. And then what that means is I can then tuck in my Christmas tree. I might need to go along a little bit further. And my little pile of presents. Like that. And then we'll pop a little banner on. And it's like a truck with a tree in the back. I need to make that slit a little bit longer. I want my tree to come over a little bit further. So I'm just going to bring back in my trimmer. And actually, because I've already done it, it might be easier to just go in with my snips to just extend that line a little bit in both directions. There we go. So let's start popping this card together. So I've got my card base. Let's pop my panel on. Oh, I keep doing that at the moment. I don't know how that keeps happening. Something in my technique means that it keeps happening. So make sure we pop this on the right way up. So I'm going to have a little white border all the way around. And then my little car, I am going to pop up on some dimensionals. But with my dimensionals placement, I'm just going to be mindful of the fact that I'm going to be tucking things into that little slot that I've created. So I don't want to put my dimensionals too close to the slot kind of underneath, because I don't want dimensionals to get in the way of me being able to poke things in. So just take off the backs of my dimensionals, and then I'm going to position my car so that the kind of headlight space is kind of in the right place. There we go. And then I've got my little tree there. And then my little pile of presents. Whoops. So I am going to pop just a little bit of liquid glue on the back of both of those to pop those in. Oh, if it would like to, there we go. So I'm going to pop my tree on this side, just tuck that in there. And I want kind of quite a lot of the tree visible. And then my little presents, we'll pop some glue on the back of there. And just tuck those in there like that. And then we've got our little Merry banner. I think that's really cute, but I feel like it needs something. I'm not entirely sure what. Maybe we'll just leave it like that. Let's put some glue on the back and stick it down. Like that. There. Actually, I think that's quite cute. I do feel like that banner needs something, but I'm just not sure what. Maybe we'll just add a little bit of shadow with the light grey granite, just kind of adding a little bit of shading. Oh, I might have ruined it, but you know, this is what we're here for, isn't it? There we go. That's it. That's our card for today. So thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you are joining me, please do leave me a comment. Let me know where you sit on the fussy cutting or not. Yeah, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for day 3. Take care. Bye.